It's a good question to start on because I think the word sustainability is confusing to a lot of people. So with what we do with both Buy Nothing New Month and the New Joneses is try not to use the word sustainable or sustainability at all. It's actually a real goal for everyone in this space to try and find a word to replace sustainability, because I think a lot of people turn away if something's sustainable. Sounds a bit scratchy and hairy and hippie. But I think the idea of sustainability is something, what is something that we can keep doing which is right? This is my own personal definition of sustainability, something that we can keep doing in good conscience. And I think, are there enough resources? Can we keep using those resources the way we're using them? Can it be sustained? Of course, you can sustain bad stuff. So that's why I don't think it's a great word to use. So I avoid sustainability, the term. I try to paint a picture of the future and get people to think differently. Like, no one, for me, I wouldn't say, oh, I bought this outfit, it's so sustainable, and expect people to go, wow, I want one. But I'd talk about something that's really beautiful quality, or it was really thoughtfully made, or something like that. So I don't think sustainable or sustainability is the best way to entice people. So I talk about beautiful futures or innovative stuff, or really thoughtful things, or products or services, or things that we've done that have our people and our planet in mind. So I tend to just talk in concepts rather than the word sustainability. Yeah, sure. So it's the New Joneses is a take on the idea of keeping up with the Joneses, which the more I speak to school kids, the older I realise I am, because lots of them don't know what it means. So keeping up with the Joneses is a phrase that we've used in the English-speaking parts of the world, I think since the 50s, where your neighbour gets a new washing machine, so you've got to get a new washing machine. Then they get a new car, so you've got to get a new car, and then you buy the orange dress, but now the pink dress is fashionable, and we're just on this crazy treadmill of more, consume. And that's keeping up with the Joneses. So the New Joneses, they do more with less, and they're really aware of the fact we live on this beautiful planet with finite resources, and they're really aware of the impact of their consumption. So everything they do, from the size of their house, the food they eat, how they get rid of it, they're aware that all those things have an impact. So the New Joneses, what we're doing now is we're taking around this lifestyle and showcasing wherever you are on the path, on this journey to being, whether it's zero waste or whether you've just got on the path now, there's something that we can all do. So we set up a fully functional house. We've got everything from high tech. We've just been at the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show with a Tesla Model X and their beautiful Powerwall solar battery storage. So there's high tech there through to low tech, worm farms, chickens, veggie patches, growing your own stuff in small spaces. So the New Joneses just showcases a whole lot of lifestyle choices that we can make every day. Your choice of dunning paper. All these things have an impact, and we can all have a positive impact by making a better choice. Given that I'm in Sydney, that's a great question. It actually started as a bit of a cock-up. So I'd been running Buy Nothing New Month for a couple of years, successfully in Melbourne, and we're having media coverage all around the world with this crazy new idea of let's just not be wasteful. And I had a little bit of support from the City of Melbourne, but nothing really to help me get the traction that I needed. So knowing that there was a lot of support in Sydney with Clover Moore and the City of Sydney for progressive ideas like this, I came up to Sydney and said, let's do it together, let's promote Buy Nothing New Month in Sydney. And City of Sydney were really supportive. We were putting a house at Customs House forecourt. We were decking it out with everything secondhand. I'd contacted nearly every secondhand retailer I could in Sydney saying, we will promote your business. We'll put your furniture, your clothes, whatever you sell secondhand, we'll showcase it in this beautiful house at Customs House forecourt to get people excited and inspired about the secondhand economy, which is a big part of our economy. Retailers went nuts, the media went nuts, the Sydney Premier at the time, New South Wales Premier at the time, said Buy Nothing New Month is nuts. Everyone should get into the shops and shop more. Everyone needs to get shopping, buy more stuff, and that I was crazy and that Buy Nothing New Month was a terrible idea. So that wasn't a good start. So it wasn't the beautiful messages of what Buy Nothing New Month is all about, which is inspiring people to think about our stuff. Where does it come from? Who made it? And what were their working conditions? And when we're done with it, where does it go? When we throw something away, where is away? They're all the beautiful, thought-provoking messages of Buy Nothing New Month. They were being lost in the media tangle around Buy Nothing New Month being against the economy, harming business, etc. So I thought, well, I don't want all the beautiful messages being lost in this media fight. I'm pulling the project out of Sydney. So we went back down to Melbourne, a little bit sheepishly, rebranded the idea The New Joneses. So we did the same thing. We put that house in, this time in Fed Square, instead of it being Buy Nothing New Month, which people obviously weren't ready for that message at the time, I called it The New Joneses, which meant it went from just the stuff we buy to everything we do. So it was the most challenging thing that's ever happened to me because I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just someone who was, you know, a girl on a laptop and a message saying, let's not be wasteful. And I had retailer wrath and the Premier telling me I'm an idiot. It was pretty challenging and confronting, and but I think it led to better things. So that's where The New Joneses actually started, right here in Sydney. Sure, I think you can still create a bad business model, you know, that's not keeping in mind the fact that we've got finite resources. So they'll be springing up all the time, but is that the right model? I think that more and more people are choosing products and services that are aware of the fact we live on this beautiful planet. We've got finite resources and we're consuming infinitely. So I've just come from 5 days at the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show and was just blown away by the knowledge of people there. People were teaching us stuff and we're meant to be like the experts in this. It's moved so dramatically along that I don't think a business itself will be, to use the word sustainable, if it's not got a really strong ethical backbone to it. You can still do it, but I think for most businesses you should be asking the question, you know, it might be legal, it might be profitable, but is it right? And I think more and more people are thinking that way, and certainly all the kids that we talk to that are coming through, they're just not going to buy products or services from you or your business if it's not good for our people and our planet. There are so many businesses, companies, individuals who are doing amazing things just to keep moving us forward as far as the sort of world that we want to live in. Some brilliant ones at home, partners that we work with at the New Joneses. Over the years we've worked with some really inspiring businesses. Bank Australia, for example, we worked with them for 5 years. They've committed to never investing in fossil fuels. That's, for some people, that's really important, and that message with around your bank, your choice of bank being one of the biggest environmental impacts you can make. A lot of people aren't aware of that, and Bank Australia have been going out there quite heavily with that message. I think Bendigo Bank are doing a similar thing, making people aware of the impact of our choices. So if you're taking your mortgage out with one of the big four, for example, that a lot of them are still investing in fossil fuels, if that's really important to you to not support those industries, you can put your money in a bank that doesn't invest in those industries. So there are plenty of great examples of companies in Australia who are doing that, superannuation companies, right down to like cleaning products. EcoStore, our cleaning partner of choice, those guys have changed their packaging. They're using sugarcane plastic instead of plastic petrochemicals. So just really, you know, their core business isn't in their packaging, but they're trying to do the best they can in every area of their business to do the best they can. So there are plenty of examples of businesses doing great stuff locally and overseas, even more impressive. Even in Thailand, I think this week it's made the news around the world that there's a supermarket in Thailand that's eliminating single-use plastics. They're wrapping their produce in banana leaves, and I think it's like a chain store. It's quite a big store that's saying no to plastics. Wouldn't it be wonderful if Coles and Woolies would do that over here? Well, that's the whole ethos behind the New Joneses, that everything we do has an impact and that we can make a positive impact on our people and our planet by making a better choice. So every day many of us drink coffee. Do you want to choose a fair trade coffee brand where they're going to be paying their suppliers fairly? Things like that, like pretty much everything we do. Your clothes, where do they come from? So our other project, Buy Nothing New Month, is all about inspiring people to think of the power in our pocket. We've all got a tremendous amount of power with our credit cards or the money that we spend to shop and vote for the world that we want to see. So everything I wear is secondhand, and I've done that for nearly decades, which is embarrassing to admit. But everything we do does have an impact. So from the choice of, as we said, choice of bank, your energy company is a big deal. The New Joneses partner with Momentum Energy. So they're owned by the largest generator of renewable energy in Australia. So if that's important to you and you want to support the renewable energy industry, instead of supporting the fossil fuel industry, choose your energy company really wisely and make sure that your energy bill is going towards a company that's investing that money into renewable energy. So everything we do, we can make a better choice to have a more positive impact. The food we eat, reducing your meat consumption, try Meat-Free Monday. Lots of people now are going weekday vegetarian, eating meat on the weekends, but then just trying to stick to something like that that's proven to have a really positive environmental impact if you reduce your meat consumption. So everything we do, as you said, turning off your lights, all that stuff is basic. Reducing, refusing, we've got to do this stuff now first, with recycling being the very last option. So say no to that thing in the first place. With the New Joneses, we're using that internet meme, it's only one straw, said 8 billion people. It's a really great way of showing if we use a straw or we use a disposable coffee cup or we buy a bottle of water and we think, oh, it's just one, but if 8 billion of us on the planet are saying that, wow, that's a lot of rubbish and a lot of crap that we're creating. But imagine the power of that, of 8 billion people turning that around and doing the right thing and saying no to that in the first place and putting your money towards the companies that are doing the right thing. We've got so much power and it's time we step up and use it for our people and for our planet. I think that's a great question, but it can be tailored. It could depend on the business. And with the New Joneses, we do a lot of research to try and give advice around where can we have the biggest impact. So your bank and your energy company, those areas are really big places we can have impact. Just start somewhere, get on the path and start learning and researching, even if we all know what it's like when you're running a small business. It's pretty time consuming, but maybe put 15 minutes a week aside to learn about what could I change in my business, or find someone in your area who can give you some advice, because something that you're doing if you're a hot dog stand is going to be have a completely different impact to if you're making local shoes or whatever you might do. Your business, it's going to be quite different compared to where you are and what you're doing. And I think it's great to do a bit of research so your energy is going into the most impactful thing for you. So I can't give a one size fits all, except for look into your bank, look into your energy company, look into your superannuation, all those areas you put a huge amount of money, that huge pot of money goes somewhere. So find out, where is it going? And do you want all your money going to that thing? Or do you want it going to, supporting more sustainable or renewable energy projects? So that's a big deal. Your bank, your energy company, your super fund. Oh, massive. I think technology is brilliant to help us use things better. I'm a massive fan of the collaborative consumption movement. And it's incredible now how I can, everything I buy is secondhand. So whether that's in an op shop, which is always my first choice. So with Buy Nothing New Month, the idea there is to extend the life of existing goods. It's not saying new is bad or that old or secondhand is better, but it's just there's so much stuff out there. Let's use our resources as much as we can before we think to go and buy something new. But technology, like eBay, all the different platforms like that are just enabling us to share things better, to use our resources better. I think technology is going to help us out of this mess a lot, but the biggest thing that will help us is human behaviour. So it's how we use that technology, because just as much as technology can give us an answer with things like eBay or moving our stuff around better, it's just as easy to get onto technology to buy a whole lot of new crap that we don't need. So it can be good and bad, but I think a lot of answers lie in technology, but it's us making the right choice with that technology. I think that's a great question, and as much as I don't want to sound like a massive tree-hugging hippie, I think connecting back to nature is really important for us to make better decisions. We've been talking about biophilia at the New Joneses. which is the science behind humans' need to connect with nature and our love of nature. Mother Nature is our life support system. Without nature, we don't have clean air, we don't have clean water to drink, we don't have fresh food that doesn't have, isn't chemical laden to eat. So everything that we have, it comes from nature. So we need to look after it. And having just been at the garden show, this throng of people, 100,000 people over 5 days who get into gardens, they're the most knowledgeable people about sustainability and eliminating waste I've ever come across, because they're connected, they've got their hands in the soil and they understand in nature nothing's wasted, there's a whole system. So there's a nutrient cycle in nature where, you grow something, you eat it, you've got the apple core, you don't throw it in the bin, you put it into the compost or give it to the chickens or the worm farm. That's a vital nutrient. You put that back into the system to grow more stuff, to grow that apple again. And that's what we're trying to recreate with the circular economy. Eliminate the waste and keep putting the things back into the system, whether it's we're upcycling. So I think the number one thing is for people just to really connect with nature, however you do that. Take a walk. If you work in the city at lunchtime, take a walk. Get into the beautiful parks, open the window. All those things are really important for us to really understand. We come from nature, and if we don't look after it, we're stuffed. Well, I think in the 10 years, essentially since I started Buy Nothing New Month to now, the biggest change I've seen is people are so much more receptive to this message. Back then, when I was just saying let's not be wasteful and the retailers were all saying you're trying to harm the economy, that conversation wouldn't happen now. People really understand. We've moved on, the conversation has really progressed. People understand we can't keep being so wasteful. There's been so much more activism from me, from so many groups all around the world saying the same thing. We literally live on a planet, we've got finite resources and we're consuming infinitely. They say UK landfill's full. They've got nowhere for their rubbish left. What happens? We see it here. We know China's not accepting our rubbish anymore. And yet our consumption goes on. Like we're consuming fast fashion like there's no tomorrow. And unless we change our ways, what's our tomorrow look like? So people are waking up to that. And I'm seeing across the board, Vogue, they now have a sustainability editor at large who was a retailer at the time when I started Buy Nothing New Month and who thought it was a terrible idea because she had a retail shop and she didn't want to be impacted. And now Claire Press is doing the most amazing stuff around the world, raising awareness for this this message, raising awareness and creating impact around better choices like a sustainable fashion industry, how we can still have a wonderful life, look great, but do it thoughtfully and not wastefully. Within the next 3 years, within today, I don't think we keep saying, we need to do it now, or, there's going to be devastating impact. I want to see people change now, today. We know everything we do has an impact. I want to see behaviour change immediately, people realising the power that we all have. And we can't keep going on as though there's a never-ending supply. We're polluting our water, we're polluting our air. Our food is getting tainted with chemicals. We need to change the way that we're doing this. We're all seeing these huge swathes of plastic in the ocean. That just ends up in us. So what we do to the environment, if we stuff up the environment, we stuff up ourselves. We're an integrated system. To look after ourselves, we've got to look after our environment. So I want to see behaviour change and everyone understanding today. It's not a case of, I can't do that because, or I'll do that when. We all need to do it now.